On May 14, 2022, a gunman entered a Tops supermarket in broad daylight and opened fire on the unsuspecting shoppers on a racially motivated killing spree. Join me while we look into the case of Payton Gendron and what led him to carry out the worst mass shooting in Buffalo history. Payton Gendron was born on June 6, 2003 to his parents Paul and Pamela Gendron, and was the oldest of 4 children. He attended Susquehanna Valley Central High School and later attended Brome Community College. He was known by his neighbors and fellow students to be very quiet and somewhat of a loner. During most encounters, he would only say a few words at a time. Though he kept to himself, he was never known to be violent. As a teenager, he found a liking to guns and enjoyed hunting and practice shooting. It wasn't until the COVID-19 shutdown in early 2020 when his hobby turned violent. During the COVID shutdown, Payton became bored and started to check out forums and discussion boards devoted to guns, which led him to 4chan. After stumbling onto 4chan, Payton found forums that were devoted to politics, and this is where he was introduced to racist and anti-Semitic ideology. He began to believe that eventually non-whites would replace whites due to the higher birth rates of non-whites. Payton felt that he had to do something to prevent this from happening, and that is when he started to plan. This is when he created a 180-page document detailing his beliefs and plans. The attack on the supermarket did not come out of nowhere. There were some incidences that happened before the attacks that showed Payton was going down a darker path. The first incident happened in 2020 when Payton was visited by a New York State police officer that the school had called. During a school project, he wrote about murder-suicide, which concerned the school enough to claim mental health issues. There was a second incident around a year later when the police were called once again because Payton threatened a shooting at or around the high school graduation. This resulted in Payton receiving a mental health evaluation as well as counseling. He was transported to the hospital for an evaluation, but was not involuntarily committed. He was released after a day and a half with no mention of this incident put on his record. Payton did go on to mention this in his document, stating, "Had to go to the hospital's ER because I said the words murder-suicide to an online paper in economics class." He then wrote, "I got out of it because I stuck to the story that I was getting out of class and I just stupidly wrote that down. That is the reason I believe I am still able to purchase guns. It was not a joke. I wrote that down because that's what I was planning to do." Payton would then go on to research and plan his upcoming attack. All of his planning would be included in the 180-page document. He began researching locations where he would carry out his attack. First, he wanted to find a location that had a higher Black population. This led him to the 14208 zip code in Buffalo. He then considered a church or school, but he ultimately chose a supermarket because he believed there would be a larger population of people there. This led him to the Tops supermarket in Buffalo. Payton would then go on to visit this location a series of times on March 8th to check the activity in the store, the layout of the store, and how many people would be in the store at specific times. During his final trip of the day, Payton was stopped by a security guard who questioned why he was going in and out of the store. Payton claimed he was collecting consensus data and later wrote in his documents that this was a close call. On March 10th, he posted that he would have to kill the security guard and hope that he doesn't get injured or killed in the process. His original plan was to attack on March 15th, but had to delay it several times. On March 16th, he wrote on his document, "I can't tell you how much I don't want to do this attack. My only other choice is suicide. I can't go back." On May 13th, the day before the attack, Payton was allegedly seen sitting on a bench outside of the Top store around 1:30 p.m. He allegedly sat outside for hours dressed in a camouflage outfit with a camper bag on his back. The day of the attack on March 14th, Payton got into his car and started the 3-hour drive from his home to the Tops in Buffalo. Along the way, Payton started to live stream on Twitch. He arrived to the Tops at 2:30 p.m., heavily armed and dressed in tactical gear, including a tactical helmet that had a camera strapped to it so he could continue to live stream the event. He then approached the store with an assault rifle, gunning down 4 people who were outside. He then entered the store and shot the security guard. He then walked through the store and opened fire, killing 6 more people and injuring 2. After his reign of terror, he would walk out of the store and surrender to the police. In total, 10 people lost their lives that day, with 3 people being injured. Payton was arrested and charged with first-degree murder. The grand jury continues to hear evidence where additional charges might be brought on. As of the making of this video, Payton remains on suicide watch and in custody without bail and is scheduled to return to court on June 9th. This is 5 Minute Crimes. Be sure to subscribe to get updated on future videos. I have also created a Discord where I'm fairly active on, as well as a Patreon where I post updates for current videos, as well as things related to cases that I cannot post on YouTube. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one.